Hello there, Anana here. In this video, I'll be talking about my OCs. While talking about them, I'll be drawing with the vk1560pro display tablet from Veikk. Once again, thank you for letting me test out this product. Okay, first impressions first, I honestly like what I see. It looks sturdy, neat, and pro. But I'll tell more about the drawing experience at the end of the video, so stick with me. And without further ado, let us start the video. So, an OC stands for Original Character. It's a persona, mascot, or a character you made. I think of it as a doll that you've given a name to, perhaps also a personality, a backstory, an appearance, etc. So, I create OCs to express certain parts of myself, or to tell a particular experience, or to generate a fictional story. But it can be all of these combined. Here enters the characters I made, and they all live in the small fictional town, which I refer to as the Little Pickle Town. The Little Pickle Town is a fictional town located outside the big city. The actual location is unknown, and the population is unknown too. The only important thing to know about is that it's a suburban place with meadows, and it glows in warm orange. Rumor has it that there exists a small town that gathers the homeless, the lost, and the broken, but nobody knows where it is until the time that you need it. Surrounded by grass, soft breeze, and glowing orange lights, you'll find a certain population who unwittingly found a place to heal each other. As you can guess by now, it's a place where I wanted to build on my working idea of a shelter, or solace. A slightly isolated sunny patch of land with a gentle breeze. A quiet neighborhood where you can almost hear the blaring TV next door. And a quiet place where you can hear your wind chime. So I took inspiration from the warmth that I experienced in the town that I grew up in. I remember liking Saturdays and Februaries in my house. I remember them being warm and orangey, sometimes with a bit of purple. My sister and I used to run errands and take walks when the sun is almost down, so I have a preference for drawing purple and pink skies because that's what I see most of the time, or at least when I'm outside. Our yard has a lot of greens, and I like that it has this countryside quietness into it. I like how the sun hits my skin and the color of everything when it does. When I was building the fictional town, I didn't have an idea of my quote-unquote safe place right off the bat, but I know from my numerous experiences of being alive what peace would look like for me. It should be warm, cozy, and quiet. It should be a place where I can rest or retire. Start of the story. Everything began on the night Iyo had her anxiety attack. She felt as if everything is spiraling out of her control, and that nothing was ever right. She feels like a failure. The stress of being in a new environment, her fear of being unable to keep up with her past performance, her family problems, and her overthinking of the future got to her. That same night, she cuts her hair because she felt like it was the only thing that she has control over. She felt suffocated and she wanted to breathe, so she took off and wandered outside the city, hoping that she could escape her thoughts. And unconsciously, she ended up in a peculiar little town. She stopped in her tracks, and before her was a stranger sitting at the steps of a shop. He looked a little bruised, as if he was fresh from a fight. It didn't look like he needed help, but she felt like he needed help. And that's where the story started. Iyo Seinfeld. She's said to be a college student and she's asexual. I intentionally made her design look plain and simple, perhaps boring. Dark hair, dark eyes, dark clothing, and a jacket which was influenced by my clothing options during the time that I was making her. I don't want her to stand out, and I just want her to look like she just wants to blend in the background. So she comes from an academically competitive background. She is a bit sheltered and is someone who was so used to being called smart or genius, just because she's a little bit ahead of her peers, in a school where everyone knows everyone. I wanted her to be someone who will realize that she is just average. In pursuit of trying to be beyond that, she sets many expectations to herself and panics when she can't keep up with them. Io is the character who I wanted to realize that she is someone who hasn't seen the world for what it is. She is someone who has to accept that she's not the one who will make it big or make a big change in the world. She's a pebble in a mountain of pebbles. She's not the main character. Nobody's a main character. We're all background characters. Milo Almonds. So Milo Almonds is a half Filipino teenager who shies away from social interaction. He helps out in their gardening shop called the Green Kid, along with his biological uncle, Uncle Fran. The idea is he's someone who will get aggressive or sarcastic to someone at first meeting, just so that he'll be avoided. He uses anger as a cover for his emotions, be it joy, sadness, fear, or just shyness. It's a hurt them first before you get hurt mindset. But his aversion can also stem from his fear of time and attachment. I want him to be the type of character who thinks that if he has fewer people that he treasures, the less likely it will hurt when they die. Milo's fear of attachments is something that he has to work on as the plot progresses. Franklin Almonds, or Uncle Fran. Uncle Fran is Milo's biological uncle and the current owner of the Green Kid. So I gave him a gardening occupation because gardening reminds me of my Sunday mornings and sunsets in our garden, and it gives me relaxing vibes that I wanted to extend to Uncle Fran. So Uncle Fran is 51 and he's attracted to the same sex and used to live in a very conservative community with his twin brother, aka Milo's dad, before he got disowned during his teenage years for allegedly coercing a male classmate into a relationship, which in fact is not true because they're hiding their relationship and the other guy just threw him under the bus to save himself. So his brother and him left the community and ended up spending their lives in Pickletown. Now that he's old, his highest priority now is to give his nephew a comfortable life. So Uncle Fran is the character that I wanted to associate with forgiving but not forgetting, letting go and making peace with the past. Despite having a harsh past, I want him to live his older years in peace. The Petersons. Leo Peterson. So he is your average sleep-deprived, hard-working guy with 3 working jobs. He's 23, a bisexual, and optimistic. Leo has to take care of his 2 younger siblings, Emma and Evans, after their mother died from an illness, and their father went missing in action when he was deployed. His one dream is to buy back their house, which they lost because they couldn't afford to keep it. So, for Leo, the house holds a special place that reminded him when things were right and okay. He believes that once he buys back the house, he and his siblings will be happy again. Until then, he has to work hard and harder. He believes that as long as he works hard for anything that he puts his mind into, he can achieve it. It may or may not sound naive, but I used to align with this mindset that if you work hard, you can achieve anything. That's when life hit me like a dump truck. So I want him to be the character that symbolizes the fact that hard work doesn't always get rewarded. Maybe I want him to be my personal reminder that yes, happy endings exist and should exist for the people who deserves them, but it's not a fair world out there. Things happen that life happens, and we don't get everything we want. We can work hard, but everyone already is. Look at the people around you. Sometimes working hard isn't just enough. Sometimes you have to get the right mixture of luck and opportunities too. It's fine if you disagree with me. At the end of the day, they're just my thoughts. Emma and Evans, the Peterson twins. So I will be drawing Emma first. They're your average 10-year-olds. Emma is the older twin, Evans is the younger twin. While these 2 kids want to act a bit more spoiled and childish to show affection to their older brother, Leo, they have to cut it back a bit because Leo is already sleep-deprived enough and they can see that. Emma and Evans never really met their father nor had strong attachments to their old house, but seeing that their older brother sees the house with great significance, they wanted to help him as much as they can. But they are aware that there is only so much that they can do as children. They can't work or pay the bills or deal with matters just like an adult. In one way or another, I wanted to paint helplessness to these characters and extend the frustration of not feeling enough to be of help. I'm sure we all have our times when we wanted to help someone but we couldn't because we aren't just capable of doing so. We may want to. You may want to be the one that pays the rent, pay the bills or debts. Sometimes we just can't. This type of feeling is what I wanted these siblings to feel. So if you're stuck in this situation, being supportive and staying by their side would probably be enough. Having at least one person believe in you and hold your hand will keep you going. So as for these two, Monaco and Nikolai, Lanabin own them, so I won't be able to give an in-depth explanation about them. I don't know what these characters are thinking, as I am not involved in their character creation process, but I do know that Monaco is a character that suppresses feelings to the point of exhaustion and resignation, while Nikolai is very self-destructive. And yeah, apparently they're also the most stylish ones among all the characters. So if you want to know more about them, you have to summon Lena. Supporting and side characters. So these OCs are characters that Lena Bin and I share. Caesar Bentley is Uncle Fran's first and last lover. He has his challenges going, and up to this day, he's still looking for himself. His story is yet to be told in the current animatics, and I don't want to say too much, or I might spoil our plans for him. Julia is Lana Bin's character. So Julia is Nikolai's stepmother, and she is currently missing after leaving on the day Nikolai turned 18. Olivia Heights. So Olivia Heights is the jazz singer in Nikolai's pub. I made her as an allusion to it's not too late to start your dreams. So basically Olivia shifted careers because she realized later on that she wanted to do something that is related to singing and music. On the other hand, we have Alexei Briggs. So Alexei Briggs is the pianist. He is an allusion to let's live a simple and satisfying life. Keith Almonds. So Keith Almonds is now a deceased or ghost character. He is Uncle Fran's twin and Milo's father. He just watches over them, and you can know his presence if there are white butterflies in the area. No one knows when exactly he will disappear and pass on, but he'll leave when he leaves. I made a webcomic including Milo, Uncle Fran, and this character, so if you're interested in knowing more about them, please feel welcome to check it out. I will leave a link in the comments. So that's about my thought process for making them. I left out some details and information, but if you want to get to know more about them, make sure to watch our animatics or go to the character bio websites we made. On to the tablet vk1560pro. So what's in the box? The tablet, the stand, 2 pens and pen holder, 30 replacement nibs, a wipe, a glove, and connectors. So to use the tablet, you will need to install the driver. The nice thing about this is that Veikk only uses one type of driver for all kinds of their tablet. The installation for the driver is very straightforward. Just follow the manual and make sure you have no other tablet drivers installed so you can avoid problems later on. So first, I am impressed with the adjustable stand, and it has this rubber foot end that prevents it from slipping or moving. It has a latch you can comfortably adjust at any angle, leaning or straight up 90, and yes, it is pretty sturdy and stable even still. For me, it is important that the stand is adjustable in any way that I want because I change a lot of angles when I'm drawing. My wrists tend to get tired, so I really like this feature. And I think it's very attentive to the user's needs. And another thing that I like is that I didn't encounter any problems with the heat. So I've been drawing for hours now, and the monitor is not heating up, which is a plus. This is compared to some brands that I have worked with before. The screen sometimes heats up after a certain period of time. Fortunately, that didn't happen with Veikk. As for the color of the screen, personally, I am already good with the default setting, but if you want to adjust the screen color, the hue, the temperature, then there are buttons behind the screen that you can fiddle with. It also comes with an anti-glare film, which means that you can work without seeing glossy effects or reflections on the screen. Here are the numbers. It uses a 15.6 inches IPS panel, a 1920 by 1080 resolution, and a 250 brightness nits and a color gamut of 92% Adobe RGB. At the side, we have the power button and the brightness control buttons, and then we also have the slots for the cables. At the left side, you have 7 buttons that you can customize for your hotkeys and 1 dial. The pens are battery free, so you don't have to charge them, and it also has 2 buttons that you can customize. So I like the fact that there are 2 pens and 30 nibs. I think it's pretty generous and convenient. Also, this additional feature that I like is the attachable pen holder at the side of the tablet. If you don't like it, you can remove it, but if you like it, you can put it back on the side. So it depends on your preference, really. So I think that it is convenient that I can keep a pen near the tablet while the other one is on the pen stand, just in case I forgot where I put the other. So I just noticed that it is a bit lighter than what I am usually used to, but it is not much of an issue. As for the pressure, the pen pressure is nice, but I think I just did run in a few things. There are some times, rare and random times, in which some of the lines have this wonky transition from thin to thick, so it gets these jaggy type of lines. So what I did was I closed my drawing application, then reopened it back, and then suddenly the issue is fixed. I don't know what happened, but I think that this was a driver issue that I'm really hoping to be fixed with an update from Veikk. This experience is not really unique because I have encountered this problem with other brands that I have previously worked before, so I am used to it and it's not so much of a deal breaker. As for the price, the tablet is around $270, and I think it's a pretty good steal considering that it is a 15.6-inch display tablet. And for the extras that come with it, the stand, the extra pen, and the generous amount of nibs, I believe that it costs $50 and more lower in comparison to other tablets with 15.6-inch display. For me personally, vk1560pro is affordable considering its size. It could definitely be your first display tablet. Do I recommend it? If you are interested to start with a display screen of this size, go for it. It's affordable and it comes with extra items that are super convenient. And sure, there may be some minor issues in installation and jitter, but I believe it is fixable with future updates from Veikk. Equipment-wise, I think the tablet is already pretty good. The issues such as the jitter is something that you won't even notice at first. Personally, it is forgivable. If it is your first display tablet, you can easily overlook this issue. And if you use the code below, you can get a discount on your first display tablet. Once again, thank you so much Veikk for sending me this vk1560pro. So yeah, that's about it for my OCs. I didn't go as detailed for their backstories, but if you're interested in them, you can just go watch the animatics. They're colored, they're fun, and in fact, go watch them with your friends. And I also made a bonus short side story webtoon. I will leave the details in the pinned comment. And hey, I am also extremely thankful for the 270,000 people who throughout the years watched my OCs and animatics. We didn't think we'd get this type of attention and we're super grateful for all the nice comments. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about my OCs, and please leave a like, subscribe, and maybe comment down who's your favorite.